Hello, this is Paul Connett. I'm standing in front of a palace of destruction. This represents a huge amount of taxpayers' money being spent to destroy resources we should be sharing with the future. Not only does it not get rid of landfills, because for every 4 tons of trash that you burn, you get 1 ton of ash that has to go to the landfill, but it also is a waste of jobs. And this high-tech toilet for Milan, this is the 2nd incinerator in Milan, burning about 1,400 tons of resources a day. It is an atrocity, in my view, in the 21st century to be destroying resources instead of recovering them with the alternatives of porta-a-porta collection, composting, recycling, reuse, repair, and waste reduction initiatives. This is actually happening elsewhere in Italy. We have over 1,000 porta-a-porta collection systems, communities getting over 50% reduction. We have some communities in Lazio getting 60% reduction in 1 year. We have other communities like Navarra, population of 100,000, getting 70% in 18 months. That's a world record. We have communities in the Treviso region, 22, averaging 76% diversion, with 4 communities over 80%. And in Villafranca d'Asti, they are getting 85% diversion, and that's a population of 30,000. So whilst these really good initiatives are taking place, there's still people building monsters like this, and others who still want to build them. It's not only a waste of jobs, there are only about 100 jobs are created with these facilities, but it's a waste of energy. They have the audacity to call these Termovalorizzatori, getting energy from waste. Actually, they're a waste of energy. 3 to 4 times more energy is saved by reusing and recycling and composting the same materials burnt here. And so they're a waste of energy. Even worse, they are not reducing global warming by very much. If you compare these facilities with landfilling, there is a slight benefit for as far as global warming is concerned. But if you compare them with maximized recycling and composting, this combination is 46 times better at reducing global warming gases than these kind of operations. And that's a European report, AEA, from 2001. Tonight I'm going to Mesaro, a small city 20 kilometers from here, and I think they're going to put it on the internet. I think people are going to be able to see this presentation via YouTube. But meanwhile, I want to say some more about, I've talked about the lack of jobs, the wasting opportunity to fight global warming, waste of energy, and so on, and poor for the local economy. What I didn't mention, of course, is the dangers posed by the emissions. Now, there's no question that over 20 years, incinerator operators have got better at controlling emissions. But there's a new problem that has emerged, and that is the issue of nanoparticles. Nanoparticles are really tiny, less than 1 micron. And the problem of nanoparticles is they're very difficult to capture. And they don't regulate nanoparticles. Nobody is measuring the nanoparticles which are coming out of this stack. There are no regulations for nanoparticles. No one's measuring the nanoparticles in the environment. But what we know is that the nanoparticles generated by this facility are the most toxic of any combustion source, because they contain many toxic elements, they contain free radicals, and they contain newly synthesized compounds like dioxins and furans. Now, when they've emerged from that stack, they are capable of traveling long distances and remain suspended in the air for long periods of time, especially when there's an inversion, and frequently you get inversions in the Milan area. And you're imposing these particulates on an area which is one of the worst polluted areas in the whole of Europe. So you're going to make a bad solution worse. We already know that there's a strong relationship between air pollution levels and illness and death, between particulate levels and illness and death. And the smaller the particle, the stronger that relationship becomes. They go deep down into your lungs, and when they get to the lung, the interface between the lung membrane and the bloodstream, they easily cross that membrane. They're so tiny there's no defense. So they go through the lung membrane into the bloodstream, distributed throughout the body, and again they can enter every tissue. And Dr. Montanari and his wife Antonetta Gatti are looking at tissues from people that have died, and they are finding these nanoparticles in every tissue in the body, in the liver, in the lungs, in the kidney, even in the brain. They can cross the blood-brain barrier. Now, they're not measuring the nanoparticles. We hardly know anything about the long-term ramifications on human health of nanoparticles. And the precautionary principle says, if you don't know all the information, if in doubt, leave it out. Don't build incinerators. There are better alternatives. An incinerator's 3 boxes, right? The first box converts hundreds of tons of trash each day to trillions of particles and gases. Then the second box, which costs more money than the first box today, is designed to try to capture all the heavy metals, all the dioxins and furans, all the gases, neutralize some of the gases and so on. Of course, carbon dioxide goes up the stack, water vapor goes up the stack, and the nanoparticles go up the stack. So this is not a completely protective system, but the fact remains that the second box is more expensive than the first box. Now the third box is where you put the stuff that you capture, the fly ash and the bottom ash from the incinerator, and that too is extremely expensive if you do it right. Except we don't know quite what Italy does with the ash. We know that Germany puts the fly ash into nylon bags into salt mines, and so does Switzerland. We know that in Japan some of the incinerators vitrify the ash and make it into a glass. And we know that beautiful, clean and green Denmark has a wonderful solution to the ash. They send it all to Norway. But we don't know quite what Italy does with it. Then maybe they eat it.
We eat it.
We eat it, okay. But here's the irony. 3 boxes. First box, convert the solids to gases and particles. The second box, you do your best to capture them. And then the third box is where you put the stuff once you captured it. The irony is, if you didn't build the first box, you wouldn't have to build the second box and the third box. So this enormous amount of money is being spent because you're doing something basically stupid. You are burning our children's resources on a finite planet. And Italy is really showing 2 faces to the world. You've got this ugly face here with incineration. You've got an even uglier face in Naples, where they're doing nothing with their waste other than cause a crisis. But the other face is the grassroots movement fighting incineration, and the many communities that are developing the safer alternatives, particularly the porta-a-porta collection systems. This is Paul Connett. Thank you for watching.